making Utica pie. I've got a pizza pan ready here with some oil drizzled on parchment, but there is another one just like this upside down in the oven that's acting as our pizza stone. Over here, this is the dough I've already made. It's been resting an hour underneath, as you can see, a cloth in a bowl near the stove where it's warm. In this pan, I was sauteing in olive oil, half of a large onion or one small onion, and a couple of fat cloves of garlic. Now we're going to add this mixture. Here's what I put in the mixture. Ground red pepper or pepper flakes, a little bit less, like half a teaspoon, about a teaspoon of dry oregano, and then a sprinkle of sugar and a sprinkle of salt. That's my Utica Pie magic dust for the sauce. So 2 small or 1 bigger can of the fire roasted. And we're gonna let this cook down for a while until it thickens back up. Pop the top, add this. Now, if you wanna add a little sweet basil, go ahead. The dough itself, I'm going to put hot water into any sort of vessel that has a little spout. I guess I could have left it right in that, but this is cuter. A sprinkle of sugar, and 1 of yeast, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons, by the way, because I measured it out this morning just to make sure. Okay, now we're gonna stir that up. I'm just gonna use the thermometer. Fine. And we're just gonna let that stand for like 5 minutes. This is 3 1/2 AP normal flour. We're gonna take you have to be crazy about it, about half, and put it in a bowl. You're going to add a couple tablespoons of grated cheese. It's really fun when you bite down on that in the dough. Little sprinkle of cheese. I add a sprinkle of rosemary. This is totally an audible on the field. Seriously, it's not traditional at all. So if you're from Utica, I apologize. Okay, so now we're adding the foamy, creamy looking yeast mixture to the flour with salt and cheese. And now we're going to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. 2, 3, 4 long, slow drizzles. And then we add the rest, the other half of the AP flour. And then I use a paddle just to get it going, and then you're gonna have to get in there and just make a mess of yourself. And then if you do it in a bowl like this, if you make this shaggy dough in a bowl, you must then knead it for 8 to 10 minutes by hand. When I did it in the mix hook on, of course the mixer did that for me, and I just let it go for 8 to 10 minutes. I took the same dough that rested an hour, literally exactly the same, except I made it in the mixer. And I just tossed it in a little oil, and then I press it with my fingertips. I stretch it and flip it and stretch it and flip it. When I think I'm pretty close, I put a little sprinkle of cornmeal, any size or shape, little cornmeal on the bottom, just because I like that. So we're gonna pop our Utica pie in on top of the inverted pan. But wait, where's the topping? I find that this comes out better if you bake just the dough itself for 15 minutes. And we took it out of the oven, and now we're spreading it edge to edge, people, with our fire roasted tomato sauce. And then we're gonna put it back in the oven for another 12 to 15 minutes to set that sauce. Okay, now most Utica pie recipes just use a sprinkle of pecorino. I like pecorino and parm. I'm using a good old handful of each here. We literally just slid it onto that tray. And that's why it's so important you remember to use the parchment paper, guys. It really helps you transfer this. So I just slid it onto a giant cutting board. I'm chopping up a little Italian parsley. This is our Utica pie, AKA a focaccia topped with homemade fire roasted tomato sauce. And then we top that with a handful of Parmigiano and Pecorino, both.